So this video is going to be a bit different than my usual fort ships, flying forts thing. This is going to be a showcase of a mod and map I made that is just pretty silly. So you're probably not going to use this mod in regular games, especially just like public ones that anyone can join, but maybe you might get a few friends, or you might just want to mess with this yourself. Or you just might find this video pretty funny and not want to download the mod, which is fine, but I just thought it was pretty funny, so I'll show it. So the basics of this mod is using stretchy ropes and pulling to launch basically forts. So this is a whole fort you can like kind of build and then launch, and you try to hit your enemy's stuff. Pretty silly, no weapons, you know, in the regular sense, but it's pretty funny to see all these explode, and it's pretty cool. So to start you off, I just have this already all set up, and we're just going to watch the replay of a bunch of projectiles hitting stuff. Basically, I just went in sandbox and created a bunch of projectiles and launched them all. So you can see this is pulling, so if I delete that, it flings it because these ropes are under tension, and then it flings it at the enemy bases. And I don't know, I just like seeing destruction like this, and it's pretty funny. But this is probably not like a competitive mod or anything, but so if you just like watching this video and watching a bunch of stuff explode, that's fine. You don't have to I'll actually slow down this last one. You don't have to download this mod or anything. Bam. I just like seeing stuff like that. So now that I've kind of given you the preview, I'll go into the map in sandbox and show you a bit of stuff. You know, show you actually how it works and how you make and launch those projectiles and stuff. So see you when I'm back in this mod, or back in this map in sandbox. So here we are back in sandbox. We've got the same map, and it actually, the map starts you with a basic projectile. So there's no weapons, so none of this technology is worth anything. There's the only extra device is this bomb device, no build zones up here, and no splash zones. So if you launch a projectile and it hits in here, doesn't do anything. So just to go over the basics, you launch a projectile, you're trying to destroy their core with it. If you hit in here or anything in here, none of this wood can get damaged, none of this can get damaged, only their base can get damaged. So you're just trying to shoot their cores by launching projectiles. It's also worth saying that these are not really accurate or consistent, so it's just a bit of silly fun. But I'll show you the basics. So you can put some bombs on here. This is all attached up via these really stretchy ropes that are super strong, called elastic. This is some strong and light material, so that when you build your projectile out of it, you know, it doesn't get too heavy and you can launch. And the reason it needs to be strong, and the reason these ropes need to be strong, is because this pulls with a lot of power. So this is this hydraulic, so if I just place it, nothing happens. But the reason there's two hydraulics, they're the exact same, but since there's two, I can actually replace this, and you can see it yanks. So every time I replace this with the alternate hydraulic, you can see it yanks some more. So the more this pulls, the more tension and energy is in here, so that when you delete, it launches. I think you all know how slingshots work. I have it attached to 1 point here and 1 point here because that's what I found the most consistent, but I suppose you probably could attach this all up, but then, you know, you just want to be sure all the ropes break and nothing yanks the projectile back or anything like that. So I would suggest making a point at the top and a point at the bottom for this. And you don't want multiple of these hydraulics, or you don't want to end up with multiple of these hydraulics, because you want to be able to just delete one and then it launch. Because if you have two and delete one, and then it'll just break and stuff. So you just want one bit. So I don't know, I pulled this quite a bit, so this might even go, I'm in the back, so I guess I'll pull it some more just to show you how far these things can go. And then I'll delete, and this probably might even go all the way over. I guess this projectile is probably heavier than I thought, so it didn't even get to the first base. But you can see this does nothing, but you saw from the replays that you can hit these and destroy their cores. I'll show you. Let's see if I can hit this middle base. Just for a bit of fun, I added a neutral base in the middle that's just filled with explosives. So it doesn't do anything other than just if you hit it, it blows up, which is pretty fun. So let's see, I'll go, maybe that's a bit, it doesn't need to go far. Let's see if that's enough. That might even be too much. Oh, it got it. So yeah, that's it. It's a bit of fun. I guess I'll actually show you how to make these projectiles from scratch. So you probably want to do something like this, where you have a point here, and then you attach these points up with this elastic, and then you make a projectile. I would go too tall, probably. Gives you plenty of space. You can attach directly up down here. If you attach over here, you might run into some problems, because these elastics actually, they basically don't rotate very well, because when you launch, these elastics need to break when you launch. So how I created that effect was basically, let me just demonstrate it a bit. If I do this and I delete, this is going to break, because as soon as it starts rotating, it breaks off, so that when this projectile gets past this bit, it'll immediately break. So that being said, you kind of want to be careful with these, probably place more than you need, and just be aware that if you do something like this, you're just going to break it, because it's going to sharply rotate. So that being said, there's some ways to get around that. When you make your projectile and hook it up with ropes, and you can see I put extra ropes on the right side, and that's because, you know, if you're on team 1 and you want to launch to the right, you probably want these extra ropes because you're going to be pulling off to the left. So you can just attach it kind of like here maybe, and just kind of slowly pull it over. That's one way to get it to the point where you're, you know, pulling from over here without immediately breaking all these ropes, and then you just give it a few yanks. You can also right click and click that if that's easier for you, or, you know, if you know holding right click and scrolling with your mouse wheel goes back and forth, so you could probably that and then that, and that's pretty fast. And then just other fun bits, if you make this like one-sided, so all your projectiles are on this side, you can get a nice spin going, which is pretty funny. So just, you can experiment with different things, because it's literally just like, you know, you can build whatever you want, because this is all made with, you know, out of the building, so there's no like weapons you need to place or anything. You just need to build something and put some bombs on it, and then when you delete this and launch, it'll go. I guess I don't have very good aim. I didn't manage to hit any of their bases, but you get the idea. I probably rambled on too long. I think I went over everything. These bomb devices, these hydraulics that you alternate to pull, because if I just place the same hydraulic over it, obviously that doesn't do anything. So these hydraulics are exact same, just one's colored a bit differently, so you can tell the difference, just so that you know which one to alternate to keep pulling. But other than that, these are exactly the same. You know, they yank quite a bit. So if I just made this projectile of wood, you know, it'd break apart. So use these modded materials. And this map I would suggest, because again, you need to be able to pull from static joints, and like if I just started, even with this modded material that's strong, if I started yanking on it, that immediately just deforms, because this is so strong, because of the amount of power needed to do this kind of stuff. So again, just this map and mod will be in the description, but I would recommend, if you're going to do this mod, probably do it on this map where you can attach statically and where you have just bases that you can easily, you know, observe some destruction on and just chunk, like I showed in the replay earlier. So I guess that's it. I'll probably end this video with just a bunch of slow-mo replays of projectiles coming in and hitting bases and just chunking them, since that's always fun. You know, I'll do some big projectiles, some spinning projectiles. We'll see how it goes. I should be able to make some fun stuff happen. So see you later, I guess. Probably Fort Ships video or Flying Forts video again next. We'll see. See ya.